Hey folks, it's Sam, and I'm here Monday, April 29th at 3 p.m. Pacific time, live doing this. Update on May 2024 Vedic Astrology. Of course, that's right around the corner. May 1st is Wednesday, and you see we have a lot to talk about here. 5 most important shifts that I've broken out from this calendar. I got this calendar from Casey Scott. You can visit his Instagram at Gold Star Astrology. And so we're going to be unpacking these important shifts today from the May 2024 Vedic Astrology forecast. Please like the video. Clicking like helps a lot more than you know. It pushes the video higher in relevant video searches. Also, please leave a nice comment. Comments also help more than you know as it raises the video in searches. Many times with hundreds of likes, there are only a dozen comments and they can be disproportionately negative. So be positive. Let me know if you like this. Even just a few words really helps. So subscribe, ring the bell to get notified of upcoming videos. The other thing is that, as you can see here, I'm going to be doing tomorrow the May 2024 forecast for the members. One of the member privileges, this is at the member page, is that you get at the Examiner Lemurian level, $9.99 a month, you get a detailed month forecast, about an hour long, and many other videos. You also wind up getting the week ahead video. You can see these were just uploaded yesterday. Ongoing updates, again, the full moon and new moon forecast for each sign is also part of the $9.99 level. You can just click the website there. I just dropped it in the chat. Sam's website, samsmembersite.com. That takes you here. And then you can just register at the $9.99 level here to get that level. And then there are other levels as well. So a lot of people are really loving that. Loving these member forecasts. You could see here some comments, even just, an hour ago, 3 hours ago, a lot of comments and participation. So it's a way to go deeper. It's not a lot of money, and you can, take a deeper dive, especially including like the Vedic astrology forecast as well for each week. So as we start here with this May 2024 Vedic astrology forecast, you could see here, again, this was put together by Casey Scott. You can visit him Instagram at Gold Star Astrology. But first, right away on Wednesday, May the 1st, Jupiter goes into Taurus. This is a huge shift over the last year. We are now moving into this Jupiter in Taurus placement, and this is a shift away from the fiery inspiration of Jupiter and Aries to a more settled, grounded, and peaceful nature. And I also have a web class you can get for that. Again, we have a lot going on here, from the fiery sign of Aries to earthy Taurus, jupiterwebinar.com. You can get that. Again, it's a great way to deep dive into that shift and see how it's going to affect your sign. But again, right away, starting in May, this Jupiter in Taurus is going to be bringing those teachings and those inspirations into a more earthy, grounded, even like into your home, family, life, things, again, that are more connected to joy, beauty, pleasure, happiness, needing to bring those teachings into that domain. I just did a full video on that as well, that you can get. There's a regular video on the YouTube channel, but then again, there was also a member video where there was a deep dive into that I did with Casey Scott, Jupiter and Taurus for members. Look at this, an hour long. We went over 100, actually not 100, but dozens and dozens of dates, an incredible case study. So again, this Jupiter in Taurus is something to really dive into, and I have a lot of resources here for you to do that. But you can also see that Jupiter will be combust. So Sun and Jupiter will be joined very closely together until June 3rd. That's one of the other indicators that starts right away when we begin the month of May. So when Jupiter's combust, it means it's right near the sun, within 15 degrees. And so this Jupiter combustion means that the power of the sun will be really energizing your teachings and your relationship to guru and whatnot. Combustion is quite a complex thing, but it mainly means there's a lot of energy because the planet is behind the sun relative to where we are on Earth. So the planet is furthest away from the Earth at that time. So its rays are literally passing through the sun, and the sun is energizing them. So this means that there'll be a lot of energy and enthusiasm toward your teachings and whatnot, but there can be also this sort of tendency to burn up the impurities of your teachings. So it's really a time to rethink your teachings and your beliefs and try to put them into practice, because the sun is trying to energize the things that you believe in as well, rather than just having them be hopes and dreams and things that you believe. That sun combustion is pushing them out with a lot of force. Then the next big shift that happens, you see this Jupiter in Taurus is a big one down here, but then the new moon in Aries, Bharani Nakshatra. So this is really big. Of course, all the new moons are, because they're the beginnings of a new cycle. But this one in particular, you have to realize, because the last new moon before this one was the solar eclipse that happened April 8th. That was already almost a month ago, that solar eclipse. That was the last new moon. That happened in Pisces, right? So this new moon in Aries in Bharani Nakshatra, of course, I'll do a full update on this, but it's the beginning of that cycle in Aries. And it came after the recent full moon in Libra. Again, you can see we have another full moon coming up here in Scorpio. These lunations, these new moons and full moons are very important. And it's very important to not just mark them, but to know how they affect you, for sure. And so this new moon in Aries, again, it's a new cycle of initiation, Aries themes, acting with enthusiasm, courage, individuality. And Bharani Nakshatra is with an awareness of consequences and how those consequences might affect you, right? And again, just to let you know, so you understand, you can see I do these full moon and new moon forecasts at this same examiner level, at this same Lemurian red level. So again, you can see 2 weeks ago, I did the full moon in Libra for all 12 signs, because it's different for you. This new moon in Aries is going to be different for you if you're Gemini, because it's your 11th house, than if you're Cancer, where it's your 10th house, or if you're Sagittarius, where it's your 5th house. So these lunations, the full moons and the new moons, are very important. And you could see the previous new moon was the solar eclipse in Pisces, right? That was the previous new moon that I did. And you can see all the videos that I've done in this last month. This is how many you get at the full level in the last month. But I always do the full moons and the new moons, because that's where the cycles repeat and where we start a new cycle or we hit the halfway point. So again, very important shift here, Tuesday, May 7th, because it's this new moon in Aries for 2024. And relative to your ascendant, it's going to affect you differently. But for all of us, it's this new cycle of initiation. That's what Aries is. Now, Mercury in Aries, this is another one that's going to be big, because Mercury, right after that eclipse in April, Mercury went back into Pisces, and he's been hanging out in Pisces near Rahu, where he is now. He's still close to Rahu, near the previous eclipse cycle, previous eclipse point. He's going to start moving forward. Well, he's moving forward now, but especially by the time we hit May 10th, Mercury goes into Aries. So if you've been feeling that kind of emotionally, intellectually kind of underwater lately? I have. It's not just that he's retrograde, but he's been also in Pisces, where it's the debilitated sign, and joined Rahu, where we just had the eclipse. So quite a bit of like, it can be like sleepy time, hard to keep our eyes open sometime if you're so disposed. With me, I'm usually not like that, but I've been just, it's wiped me out. I mean, like it hasn't, and like I haven't been felt wiped out in quite a while, but I'm ruled by Mercury. So for Geminis and Virgos, it could definitely have that kind of like, ugh. So anyway, Mercury going into Aries. It's a big shift, and really kind of, for me, this is really kind of officially closing the main energy of that eclipse that we just had, the solar eclipse in Pisces, because now Mercury is also out of there. So then there'll be no more planets left in Pisces except, oh, actually Mars is still there. Sorry. So this Mars Rahu, yeah. So Mars is also still there. I forgot. We still got more of it. Okay. So, but then after that, Sun goes into Taurus, which again, wherever the Sun goes, now our focus is shifting toward that area of life. The Sun in Taurus is definitely about bringing greater, stability, structure. And again, of course, Jupiter is also there. So again, that's a big shift from where the Sun is now in Aries and following our inspiration to the Sun moving into Taurus, which is about being grounded, being practical, being really connected to the earth. So that'll be very important. That'll be an important shift for the next 30 days, starting May 14th. Then we have, on May 18th, we have this Sun, Venus, and Jupiter in Taurus. They all join. This is a very, rare conjunction, of course, to have Venus, Jupiter, Sun all at like the same degree, or within a couple degrees or so for a while. Again, we get them the most here on the 18th. And so again, this just brings a lot of Taurus energy there, but it's also Venus-Jupiter conjunction often shows this sort of inner conflict between our worldly happiness and pleasure and our universal, like, sort of beliefs. But again, they're in Taurus, so they're very, very much in the earth, sort of earthbound, qualities. So, but these are going to be in Kritika Nakshatra, so that's very much about trying to cut through all of the delusion. So this could be, again, very spiritually profound, particularly as it relates to putting your teachings into practice, right? And in a way that is enjoyable and beautiful to you. In the recent updates that I spoke about, again, find it on my channel when I spoke about the Jupiter in Taurus. And a lot of what I talked about even in this web class is bringing your teachings and what inspires you down into the beauty and joy of your life. When our spiritual practices become things that are beautiful, that we love, that we enjoy, rather than just this thing that we're trying to get something from. Oh, I did my meditation. Don't worry, I did it. Yeah. And we do it like we brush our teeth or something. Like, okay, I did it. Then we don't do it that much. We don't want to do it. It's not something that's beautiful, not something that we love doing, not something that we enjoy. And that's really what Taurus is. Taurus is like the things that you love the most. Like, think about like your family and the things around you, like your possessions, the things that you buy, the things that you purchase, the things that are beautiful that you want to have, that you invest in. And again, hopefully it's not just objects. Again, the thing we have to be careful of with Jupiter, with a Jupiter moving into Taurus and to Taurus in general, is that we have to be, careful not to get blindsided by like, greediness and accumulation and whatnot, and really, mistaking that for happiness. It's not really happiness. It's pleasure and comfort but we have to elevate beyond that. But at the same time, we can also bring our teachings into that beautiful place where our teachings also become something like our meditation is something beautiful that we love to do, just like we love being around our family and whatnot. So again, that Jupiter in Taurus and all of this Taurus energy is really facilitating that lesson of aligning beauty, like, worldly beauty with otherworldly inspiration and purpose, because they're often at odds with each other, right? So I just dropped that link to the web class there as well. You should really check it out and get this free web class. It's Jupiter and Taurus. I do talk about it for each of the 12 signs as well, and I go in great depth about that transit. So then we also have Mars Rahu conjunction that's happening exact here on the 19th of May. And this Mars Rahu conjunction is again, it can be kind of ominous to look at, right? Last time we had Mars Rahu was in Aries, and it was quite an explosive sort of time. But of course, that's in Aries. Mars is the ruler. This is a bit different, but again, Mars Rahu can always have a volatile, explosive potential. But in general, Mars in Pisces is much more like the subdued spiritual warrior, much more connected to literally like emotional waters. Now, again, that can be explosive emotional potential for sure, and that can lead to externally explosive things. Of course, all of that's possible for sure, no question, particularly around like religious fanaticism and all of that kind of thing. We can definitely see that sort of in the world, because the world is always going to sink to the lowest element also, right? So we don't always have to be speaking on that level. On the personal level, though, again, this could be much less destructive, even on the personal level, than maybe that Mars Rahu was, because it's much more active to Aries. When Mars Rahu was in Aries a couple of years ago, it's more about, it can be like sort of personally destructive as well. Like we break connection with others, and it can be all that kind of Mars, is really about breaking connection. But in Pisces, again, it's quite subdued. And if you have a spiritual practice, especially where you do meditation and devotional practices and whatnot, you may, now is really an opportune time to not waste, because Rahu is trying to really expand this capacity for sacrifice and putting into practice what you know to be the right teachings, destroying your own weaknesses in a way where it's connected to the heart and it's connected to devotion. So I know myself, I've really felt since Mars went into Pisces, really feeling that need, getting up a little bit earlier, much more kind of like willing to say, okay, Sam, you've been a little lazy around certain things, and make sure to fight that good fight and feel that sort of transcendence, right? So then we have the full moon in Scorpio on Anuradha Nakshatra and the Jupiter-Venus conjunction. So again, on the 23rd now, we have this big full moon in Scorpio. Of course, the moon is debilitated in Scorpio. So, this is a time when the emotions are quite excitable, volatile. And again, just to say, when you get, at the member level, at this Lemurian level, the 999 level, you get that full moon forecast for your sign. And again, it's very important to know, because this full moon in Scorpio, we all respond a little different based on our rising sign. If you're Virgo, it happens in your 3rd house. If you're Capricorn, it's your 11th house. These are very different, and the moon is a different planet and whatnot. So staying up to date, not that much to really get these important updates. But again, the moon is volatile here in Scorpio, because it's where we have a certain, triggering around our imagined fears and our projections about again, sort of imagined fears and the things we can't control, so we can get a little spun out. So you want to really be careful, but that's a big shift. And I'll be talking about that, of course, in more detail as we get closer to it. But then also the Jupiter-Venus conjunction. Again, this will be in Taurus. So again, in this context, Venus is really sort of dominating that association because they're in Venus's sign. But again, it's really an opportunity to bring together the things I said here of bringing those teachings into that place of beauty. So for example, something like setting up a beautiful altar, making sure there's like flowers on the altar and a beautiful picture of your deity, of your guru or your beloved deity. And then even like the devotional practices where you really feel that like the earth is really holding you, and like the earth is your home and the body is your home, and feeling those teachings in an embodied way, not just a bunch of ideas and intellectual, oh yeah, watch this video, read this thing. All that's fine. But at some point you need to embody it. And embodying it means through breath and practice and sitting, literally sitting, closing your eyes and feeling it and embodying it, right? So that Jupiter through Taurus is really great for potentially embodying these things. This Jupiter-Venus conjunction can maybe be the first real kind of moment where it really sinks in. Of course, this Venus-Jupiter Sun also. But so again, this is happening while we have the full moon in Scorpio. So there's a lot going on this day. And again, this is one day, but you want to look in the surrounding days as well, because the moon will be waxing toward full, then it'll wane a little bit. Jupiter, Venus are moving into conjunction. But again, so these things aren't just like a light switch that's on and off. They're cycles, right? And then the last one, when we get to the end of May, when we get to, this is actually June 1st, but we see Mercury will go into Taurus at that time. But so again, these are the main shifts here. And you see down here, Jupiter and Taurus webinar, the jupiterwebinar.com. You can go there. Again, this is very helpful. A lot of people have come to this, really get a lot out of it. And also, again, I encourage you to either click below the video to join, or go to samsmembersite.com. And again, it's very easy to join. Most people are at the Oracle 5D avatar level, which is where you get all of the videos at every level. And that includes like the Vedic week ahead. That includes the full moons. That includes the new moons. That includes special classes like I just did with Casey Scott, almost an hour of going through all of these dates of the Jupiter and Taurus. It's a fascinating web class. We went through and really went deeper into all of these transformative things that happened since Jupiter went into Taurus, like the last couple times. Again, there's always the week ahead, the Vedic week ahead, the new moons, full moons, and then special classes like these are political. These are other special case studies, which I have a few more of these. I'm always updating them. So anyway, I hope you have a great May, and leave me some comments and questions, and thanks a lot. Please like the video. Clicking like helps a lot more than you know. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel.